Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
Now that U.S. economy is booming, Dems say it's not a key policy priority. A telling new survey by the Pew Research Center reveals that Democrats who considered the economy a top priority under the Obama administration have changed their tune now that the economy has taken off under Trump. The results of the survey are stark. In 2013, an overwhelming majority of the Democratic Party, 87%, said that strengthening the economy was a top priority, whereas today just 64% of Democrats say they consider the economy a key issue. Something similar has occurred in Democrats' appreciation for the importance of jobs. In 2013, 81% of Democrats said they viewed improving the nation's job situation as a top policy goal, while today just 58% of Democrats say this. Taking the place of the economy and employment among Democrats' top priorities are global warming and environmental protection. Today, 68% of Democrats and those leaning Democratic say that addressing climate change should be a top priority for Trump and Congress, Pew found. By contrast, a scant 18% of Republicans and Republican leaners say it is a top priority. A majority of small business owners, 63.8%, believe that President Trump's policies have helped their business, according to a survey from the Job Creators Network. More business owners, 57.5%, believe Republicans do a better job of managing economic issues than do Democrats, 14%. The survey finds the support is likely due to Trump's ability to roll back regulations and red tape on businesses. A majority of businesses also support the tax reform package that was signed into law and believe media coverage of the proposal was biased. 68% of small businesses view the legislation favorably or somewhat favorably. 58% said the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act will benefit their business. Since much of the media coverage surrounding the bill has been critical, 57.3% of respondents viewed the coverage as biased. These numbers provide insight into what the biggest job creators in the country are expecting to gain from the new tax relief, the survey explained. Home Depot, HD, announced on Thursday that it will pay its U.S. hourly workers a one-time bonus of up to $1,000 tied to President Trump's tax reform. This incremental investment in our associates was made possible by the new tax reform bill, Craig Menear, chairman and CEO of the company, said in a statement. The largest U.S. home improvement chain is joining J.P. Morgan, JPM, Verizon, VZ, Disney, DIS, and others in adding to employee compensation after President Trump signed a sweeping tax reform bill into law. The Home Depot bonus will be paid in addition to the retailer's existing bonuses. It employs more than 400,000 associates. The Trump administration's tax reforms will accelerate global economic growth, according to the latest forecast of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Total economic output for the world will grow 3.9% in 2018 and 2019, after adjusting for inflation. That would be the strongest year for global growth since 2011 and represents an upward revision of 0.2% since the IMF's forecast in October. When the IMF released its global economic outlook in October, it assumed that U.S. tax policies would remain unchanged. In other words, it assumed Republican efforts to pass tax reform would fail. The changes to the U.S. tax code are expected to be responsible for about half of the upward revision, the IMF. Much of that will arise from lower corporate income tax rates. The IMF estimates that lower rates will lead to an acceleration of business investment. As well, a larger federal budget deficit will stimulate the economy and boost U.S. growth, according to the IMF.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.